Hello, and welcome again to another episode of This Song Sucks, podcast where three pals get together and talk about the music that we hate. I am Josh Kavanaugh, and today I'm joined, as always, by Hayden. I'll just have the free chips and salsa, please, Crawford. How you doing, Hayden?
I'm just thinking about all the mistakes I made in my life that led me to this episode right now.
And our guest today, a very special guest all the way from Arizona. Gabe, is that a microphone in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me, Hostetler? How's it going, Gabe?
Oh, come on.
I think we should clarify that earlier this week, Gabe sent us a photograph of his microphone for the recording, but he had it placed in his lap in a very inappropriate manner.
Listen, that was genuinely an accident, but...
So, Gabe, as usual, our guest has chosen this song. Gabe, what song are we going to be talking about today?
We are going to be talking about the 2001 masterpiece from Stained. It's Been a While.
It's been a while.
And just to give our listeners a little context, Gabe and I go pretty far back. We met in Tucson in our mid-20s, played in a band together called Baby Gun.
Great name.
Great band, great name. We won't talk about BB Gun any further than that.
Great band, better name. Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh yeah, that band, good name.
Yeah. Gabe's also been a member of the Tucson music community for more than a couple of decades now, and has seen pretty much every live act imaginable through your employment downtown too. So, gives you a unique context from which to view Stained.
Having viewed Stained, yes.
yes, but we'll get there.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier in the week, Gabe, that as a younger or teenager, you probably listened to more Stained than the average guy.
Yeah, I think I listened to more. Is this new metal? New metal than the average guy.
Okay.
Stained was definitely on that list when I was in 7th grade. I think an older kid made me a CD. Which had Stained, Limp Bizkit, Korn, Disturbed.
Hell yeah, dude.
Pretty much everything that you guys have or will cover on your podcast was on that CD, and I loved it.
Me too.
Absolutely appropriate that you were into this music in middle school, which is the kind of person that this shit appeals to.
That's definitely the age I was when I was like listening to Limp Bizkit cassettes in my room, like kind of quietly so my parents couldn't hear the lyrics.
Speaking of lyrics... before we get started with the meat of the episode today, I want to introduce a little competition between Gabe and Hayden. Fans who have listened to the Red Hot Chili Peppers episode will remember how much fun we had with the game, Who Can Come Up with the Worst Anthony Kiedis Lyrics. So I thought I'd come up with a special...
true American classic.
Yes, a true American classic. I thought I'd come up with a special game for this episode. So let's kick this off with the first round of a game I'd like to call Trapped or Stained.
Oh no.
The rules are simple.
Oh, man.
Okay. Every round I will read each of you a segment of lyrics, and you will have to guess if it was written by Aaron Lewis of Stained or by Chris Taylor Brown of the band Trapped. Obviously, both these bands are kind of in the same area genre-wise, but they just have really dumb band name spellings.
Oh, I want to go back to bed.
I want to change the spelling of my name.
Just GBE.
Yeah.
Just add a T to your name, Gaped.
Oh, God, no. All right, since Gabe is our guest, I'm going to let him go first. So I'm going to read you this lyric, and you have to guess, is it Stained or Trapped? Here we go.
Okay.
Stop trying to control everything and fuck what they say. What do you have to prove? So why am I waiting? This life that I'm wasting. If that's what you mean. How will this be when all is said and done? Will I know where I'm from? Remember me. Where will I be? I guess I'm on the run and time is catching up behind me.
Oh my God. I think just based on it sounding like Aaron Lewis writing lyrics about being the sad old piece of shit that he is, I'm going to guess Stained on that one.
Oh, sorry, that's incorrect. That is from the Trap
damn.
song.
Oh!
That is from the Trap song, When All Is Said and Done.
Man, I was going to swear that was Aaron Lewis, too.
This game is going to be hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the thing is, I did not spend much time looking into these lyrics. Just like the first 4 random choices of each band I pick, because they're all equally as bad. All right, so Hayden, your question here. I keep swinging with those moods. I keep crawling back to you. I know now that love is blind because you put that veil over my eyes. I'm addicted to your touch. You tear me down to build me up. I'm a sucker for this game, but it's all I want to play.
Oh, no. I mean, I feel like this is a trick lyric. I feel like I'm supposed to guess trapped, but it's actually stained. I'm going stained.
Ooh, incorrect too. Damn it. That is from Love Hate Relationship by Trapped.
Fuck.
I think I understand this game. They're all going to be Trapped lyrics, aren't they?
All right. So 0-0 before we get started here. Okay. So let's just jump right into the bio here. First, I'll say that the main source for like the early days of the band comes from this Rolling Stone article from 2001. And this is kind of not related, but I thought it was kind of funny. It had a paywall on it, so like it wouldn't let me read the whole thing.
A paywall for stained?
From a 20-year-old article. So
What do you have to pay? Like 3 10-milligram Oxycontin? What are they charging?
No. So I was just like, okay, I'll just see if I can get like a free trial or something. So I hit on subscribe, and it's like $8 a month to subscribe online to Rolling Stone. And I was like, fuck that. So I hit the back button on the browser, and for a second, the entire article was visible.
Ooh.
So I was just like, so I just did it again and like Control A, Control C, and I got the entire article for free.
What an insane way to read an article, but good for you.
Just copied it into a Word file, and I was like, yeah, fuck you, Rolling Stone. I'm not paying you $8, you piece of shit. Just die already.
I'll keep my Oxycontin, thank you.
All right. So the story of the band starts off with vocalist Aaron Lewis meeting guitarist Mike Mashak at a Christmas party in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1993. Apparently, Aaron Lewis is just hanging out around the keg, just being super cool.
Oh, yeah.
I thought maybe they met at like a PRS gallery. Because that Mike guy sure does like his PRSs.
Yeah, PRS is a Paul Reed Smith guitar, favorited by people like Mike Mashak and Creed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, made famous by Tremonti for sure.
Yeah, just think of that douchebag from Creed, and you know what that guitar looks like. So anyway, at the time, Lewis had been playing solo acoustic gigs, and was hoping to put a group together.
So cool.
Yeah, but they were awesome shows. So Mashak was a veteran of the local rock scene who told Lewis he was tired of, quote, playing in bands that sounded like two guys who solo a lot. So I'm sure his shows are really awesome too.
You went to the right genre.
Yeah, right. He's like, I'm never going to have a solo in any one of my songs ever again.
Yeah.
Only gnarled screeching.
Yeah. Just wait till I write these riffs.
Yeah, you don't need solos after these bangers.
Boy, we're going to talk a lot about these riffs, but not yet.
So anyway, the two exchanged numbers, but they wouldn't come together as a group until nearly a year later. And this is because apparently Lewis moved to Atlanta to complete a goldsmith training program.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Yeah, he learned to be a goldsmith because apparently his mom was into jewelry or something.
Hang the fuck on. What exactly does being a goldsmith entail?
You learn to become a jeweler.
I imagined, when you first said that, I imagined him as panning for gold. Which,
Me too.
Like an old prospector.
Yeah, that's why I asked. This can help feed his eyebrow ring habit.
Yeah, exactly.
If he became a jeweler.
Oh, yeah.
Being a jeweler apparently was his backup plan, but the reason I bring it up is in Atlanta, he was working as a part-time cook, and there was a couple of metalheads he worked with that got him into like Pantera and all these other similar bands. Because apparently before that, his parents were kind of described as hippies, and he was more into like folk music, like James Taylor and that kind of thing. And then these fellow cooks got him into metal.
Leave it to a line cook.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I was like, that's probably where he's like, man, these guys like awesome music and they have neck tattoos. I'm in.
And they have pills. I'm really on the pills today. I'm sorry.
Wait, are you currently on pills, or
No,
just want to talk about
absolutely
pills?
not.
He just wishes.
I'm just talking about them for some reason.
So you want to be on pills?
I mean, Yeah. If we're talking
Especially
Stained,
if we're going to
yeah.
talk about fucking Stained, yeah.
I wish I could have been on pills for the last week of listening to Stained, because
You're going to need to be.
It's been brutal, man.
something needs to numb me.
It's been real bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, Lewis moves back to Massachusetts, hooks back up with Meshuck. They get together and jam, I guess, or play some songs. And so apparently after hearing Lewis sing for the first time, Meshuck was so impressed, he got together with some other people he knew, bassist Johnny April and drummer John Wasowski, formed together to start Stained. Their first gig was actually in February of 95, and according to the article, they were playing covers of Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, Rage Against the Machine, Nirvana, and Korn.
I can't wait. I'm literally licking my lips right now.
Yeah. Heavily into like grunge, but also adding Korn on the end of that, you're starting to see kind of where they're going to start, the direction they're going to start going in.
the unstoppable train is going to start going.
Exactly. So by 96, they saved up money, spent $2,500 to self-record their first album titled Tormented. They released it at a CD party in November of 96. According to Lewis, the record's like heavier songs compared to what they do later were the band's attempt for them to fit into the hardcore scene in Boston at the time. So apparently where they were playing, that kind of music was really popular, so they were just sort of going with that flow. I didn't find much sales data on this because, again, it was a self-released CD. They made it available later on their website to purchase, but the only official numbers I found is the guitarist Meshuck said they sold 900 copies at the CD release party, which is pretty decent.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Sure.
Apparently they were selling an additional 2,000 copies while they were playing gigs in the New England area that year.
Why don't we give our listeners a sample of that record so they can see why it sold like hotcakes?
Oh, our poor listeners.
You want to hear the opening track? Is that what you're saying?
Let's do it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
It's been like this forever. No more.
Oh, fuck me.
I hate my fucking life.
Oh my
So he
God.
starts off with the skit where he's like gonna blow his brains out or something.
Yeah,
It's just-
I wrote that in mine is a suicide skit. Are you fucking kidding me, Aaron Lewis?
Oh man, that was awesome.
Oh God. So the band's big break would actually come in October of 97, and they opened for Limp Bizkit at a show in Hartford, Connecticut.
I've been waiting to talk about this all week.
So the story is that, I guess Durst had never heard of them before, but the story that the guitarist Meshuck tells is that Fred Durst approached them about 20 minutes before they were supposed to go on stage, and he had a copy of the band's CD, the Tormented CD, and he accused them of being Satanist because of the album's cover art.
Right.
What?
Quote from Meshuck, he said, "Fred and I exchanged words. Then he took our CD and threw it across the table. He wanted nothing to do with us. So much for our big break."
Have a lot to say about this because
Wait a minute. What's going on here?
So Fred Durst, saw the cover of this album and decided that it was just too much for him and he tried to get them off the bill.
he tried to kick him off the bill.
Yeah.
Because they were Satanists?
Yeah, so
Isn't he from Jacksonville?
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the picture on the cover of this album is just a picture of Fred Durst's backyard. But it's like a Barbie doll on a crucifix, and there's like a rosary. There's blood kind of splattered everywhere. It looks like a middle schooler's attempt to make a Slayer cover art.
Okay.
Right, exactly. It's a very tame Slayer cover.
Right.
It's really funny if you look at the face that's kind of like stuck in the mud. There's like a nose piercing, but it looks like the cord of like an old telephone from your grandmother's kitchen.
They just cut a little piece of plastic out of a cord.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's a hot mess.
Anyway, this is so much tamer than like any Slayer cover.
So it's no mayhem cover,
or like
huh?
Goat Whore or something. You look at their
Yeah, I mean, like,
albums. Yeah.
I just don't understand how Fred Durst is that offended by this cover. Like it's like,
oh, what a piece of shit. But anyway, they do play, and apparently Durst is so impressed by their live show that he approaches them afterwards. You know, he's starting this production company, and he
signs them.
Yeah, he wanted them to come down to Florida and record some demos with him.
No, we are not. Do not say Florida again.
I might as well get Satan on my side.
So they go down to Florida. They start recording demos with Durst in early '98, and Durst uses these demos in his connections, and he was able to sign him a deal with Flip Records in February of '98. So a pretty quick turnaround from playing that show in late '97 to having a record deal. So the next album, their actual first studio album, is called Dysfunction, and it was released in April of 1999.
This is what most people think Stain's debut was. Like, I sure did when I was a kid. Like, nope, I had no idea Tormented existed until we did this research for this podcast. I feel like most people think this is where their experience with Stain starts.
Yeah. And it was...
Great year.
It was somewhat a great year, yeah, 99, absolutely. The album was a kind of a significant departure from the band's previous material. It contained less, like, hardcore screaming type stuff and had more melodic singing from Lewis. And apparently this was a result of Fred Durst influence. Apparently, this is according again to the guitarist. While they were recording these demos before the album, Durst told Lewis, "Man, you can sing. Why don't you do that more?" So
wise words.
Yeah, great advice from a true king.
Hitmaker. So 3 singles were released from the album. The songs Just Go /Suffocate, Mud Shovel, and Home. The first 2 charted in the top 25 of the Billboard mainstream rock chart. And the album itself reached number 74 on the Billboard 200, and it would later go, I think in 2004, it would be certified double platinum. But that's probably on the back of the success of their next albums.
I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there because we're going to say a lot of negative shit all throughout this episode. Mud Shovel kind of slaps.
I'm with you. Mud Shovel slaps. Mud Shovel was the song that was on that CD that older kid made for me.
Yeah. Mud Shovel is why I started listening to them.
I heard that little bass line and I was like, all right.
I mean, it's good, man. It's catchy.
Yeah, and who the fuck knows what mud shovel means? He says it 50 times at the end of the song.
You can feel my anger. You can feel my pain.
You can feel my torment. It's driving me insane.
All right, so... Jesus.
That's just... I didn't have to look up those lyrics, by the way.
No,
that's just in the head.
Yeah. Stuck in the nog for good.
Okay. This might be a good time to talk about what this album kind of sounds like and where they're drawing from, and also their previous stuff. So Gabe pointed out this one particular riff.
I believe he phrased it as, "You guys want to hear the worst riff I've ever found," or something like that.
That particular set of words came up a lot when I was listening to their music, though. It would just be like one after another. Oh, that's the worst. No, this one is much worse. Anyway, Go ahead.
Okay.
We're going to play a similar game right now, Gabe.
Oh, good.
So here we go. This is from the song Crawl.
I sent this riff to some other friends after you pointed it out, and they were just like angry if they had clicked on it. They didn't find it as funny as we did.
I was listening to it in my car, and as soon as it started, I just started laughing. I just it wasn't even, I couldn't be mad. It was just so dumb.
It is kind of like it has no brain, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening. It's just like gnarled mess.
It's a lot like the other one that we listened to off the first record. Like it's the same heavy thing and then a screech.
So my point here is like that one's bad, but is it worse than this one?
Oh, is the previous one worse than this?
Oh, the one you're about to hear.
Oh, good.
No, that one's worse.
So
Yeah. So that one, you think that one's worse?
I think that one's I mean, I really feel like we could just do this all day with their music. Is like,
Well,
find.
funny you should say that, because is this one worse than the first two? Those are all pretty bad.
They're all the same too.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So I guess like one of the main things to talk about these riffs is like there's an obvious formula that's being followed that we're all pretty aware of. Gnarled 7-string riff screech. It's pretty apparent to me where this came from.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
And we're gonna all right, we're gonna do it. This is obviously Korn. I mean, like this is where they're pulling this from. The Korn had this exact idea in the early mid '90s. They've already done this.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it gets like dug up again like this is interesting to me.
Yeah.
So we've got an example here of a Korn song I picked out that perfectly illustrates how they ripped it off.
Can I ask a question before we play it?
Yeah.
Korn is still doing this though. At the point that Stained.
But my point is that Korn came up with this idea.
Okay. Yes.
And
Got
like
it.
you can say what you want to about Korn, but like they were pioneers in that they created a sound all on their own. They didn't steal this from anybody. This was their idea. It's stupid, but they were the first people to do this particular thing. And here we go. So you see my point.
Oh, I mean, yeah, without a doubt. At least that's like a little bit more rhithmically interesting than any of the Stained ones, though, that are just so straightforward. Yeah,
that's what's interesting about Korn's sound is so like bulky and rhythmically in a weird way. Like nothing had ever sounded like that. And a lot of bands tried to copy like some aspects of Korn, but like it's so egregious with the Stained riffs. Like that's just like such an obvious like reprinting.
And now I can't remember which song it is, but one of the ones I think on the first record does the thing that Korn does also, where it's like a really heavy part and then a quiet little part where you sing like a kid or like
yeah.
Wait, do you mean this?
That's singing like a werewolf.
That is the signal to we're talking too much about Korn. Let's move on.
Right. Okay.
But I only threw like a third of my Korn notes.
If you guys want to go back to talking about Limp Bizkit, that's fine too.
We've already done that. All right.
I'll let it go.
But did we figure out what happened to Wes Borland's eyes?
No, still a mystery.
I heard that he got diagnosed with something called teddy bear eye.
All right, so this first album comes out, and they start touring heavily over the next 2 years. Most famously, they're performing with Limp Bizkit on their Family Values tour.
Oh, man. Family Values was my shit. I had that on VHS, baby.
They opened for Seven Dust as well on their headlining tour.
Seven Dust. Oh, yeah.
What was their song? They had the one song.
Who gives a shit?
All right, sorry. This is why you have Jonathan Davis, is to shut me up, okay? I gave you a weapon. Use it.
Yeah. So their popularity is growing. They're on these tours with these, similar bands of the ilk. And they record and release their next album, Break the Cycle, in May of 2001. So this is the album that has our song today. It's Been a While. It's clearly their most successful album. It reached platinum status within 3 weeks of release. I think the first week it was like 750,000 album sales. By September 2003, it would be officially certified as 5 times platinum, and the estimated worldwide sales are 8 million copies. So a fuck ton of records.
Yeah.
That buys a lot of eyebrow rings.
Yes, it does. You can switch it out for every hour of the day.
A lot of throat tattoos, too.
A lot of throat tattoos.
So five singles would be released from this album, and I'll just run them through real quick. It's Been a While, today's subject. It peaked at number 5 on the Hot 100. Outside, which peaked at 56 on the Hot 100. Fade at 62 on the Hot 100. For You at 63 on the Hot 100, and then their fifth one, Epiphany, did not chart on the Hot 100, but it hit number 22 on the mainstream rock chart. So 5 singles on the Hot 100 is a lot. I mean, the other 4 were probably right. I mean, Outside was kind of, I remember hearing that on the radio quite a bit back in the day, but the other
thought that was
ones,
Everlast. That's Stained.
It is Stained, and you know how you know? Because Fred Durst does a duet with them during it.
Oh, boy.
So the album, like I said, it debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, and it stayed on the chart for 70 weeks. Here's the thing that's going to piss y'all off, okay? The most frustrating thing about this debuting at number 1 is guess which album it knocked off the top spot.
Oh, no.
Hayden, guess. I don't know.
Do we have to guess for real?
Yeah, take a guess. It's 2001.
311 Sound System.
No. Tool's Lateralis.
Oh, man. Their best record?
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful.
Oh, gosh. It's really funny, too, because you mentioned them ripping off Korn in that first self-released album. Their second track on that one basically is a watered-down version of 46 and 2 by Tool. Like, I heard that song, and I was like, what the fuck? And I went and looked at the dates, and sure enough, Tool's Anima, which 46 and 2 is on, was released like 4 or 5 months
What a fucking record that is.
before the Stain record. So a lot of just pulling right the fuck off from people.
Yeah.
Contemporary reviews of the album were mixed, with Metacritic giving an average score of 55. And some of my favorite quotes from the Metacritic reviews from CD Now, which gave it a 60. Pedestrian? Sure. But in 01, it's doubtful you'll find a more apt soundtrack to a summer of skyrocketing gas prices and stock market tumblings. That was one of the better reviews, okay? From Q Magazine, which gave it a 40. All this introspection wouldn't be so bad if Stained put a bit of oomph behind it, but the musical changes lack dynamism and frame the groaning vocals almost irreverentially.
Man, that's pretty spot on.
Pretty spot on. And my favorite for this album, from NME, which gave it a 20. Break the Cycle is new metal as envisioned by Tipper Gore. 14 tracks of parent-friendly, grunge-flavored soft rock that make Creed sound like Gigi Allen.
Grunge-flavored soft rock. That is perfect. Like, I had this whole thing about basically what they do here on this record is they take the aspects of Korn we talked about and the aspects of Tool you talk about and distill it down all the way until it's become like a pumpkin spice latte.
I mean, the making Creed sound like Gigi Allen line is fucking awesome.
Gigi Allen, man. Tell us why we should talk about on the podcast sometime. What a psychopath.
Yeah, geez. So anyway, in 2003, the band played an international tour to promote their next album. And I'm assuming that this title, the irony was not intentional. 14 Shades of Grey.
Yo, what the fuck?
It's like, yeah, this is exactly what it is, guys. It was released in May of that year. It also debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, and it reached platinum status within like 2 months. You got 4 singles from this album: Price to Play, which hit number 66 on Billboard Hot 100. So Far Away would reach number 24 on the Billboard Hot 100 as well. And the other 2 didn't chart on the Hot 100, but How About You, which I don't remember at all, reached number 10 on the mainstream rock chart. I remember, again, So Far Away was kind of the big hit. You heard that on the radio all the time, but I think the success of this album was
Wait, that wasn't Everlast also?
That was not also Everlast.
I'm just so confused by this.
Disturbed. Is that a band in the milieu of this? Disturbed?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. They were extremely down with the sickness.
Oh, yeah. That's those guys.
It's funny you bring up Disturbed because like that beginning to Disturbed that I just mimicked is obviously a ripoff of the Jonathan Davis clip.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
All right.
Just saying.
Okay,
I'm just
we
saying.
get it. Everybody ripped off
just
Korn.
saying.
Everybody ripped off Korn.
Okay.
Can you just play that one more time for
Yeah,
fun?
please.
I really like listening to it.
Just for context, that is how Korn's second record, Life is Peachy, in 96, that's how it starts. That's the first second of the record.
Oh, man.
When do the bagpipes come in?
Not until later, man. Not until later.
All right, so most of what I read, like the criticism around this album, they describe it is the band moving away from the heavier music, which there's really not that much heavy music.
Are we talking about Korn or Stain? I'm confused.
We're talking about Stain now.
Okay. All right.
We're talking about Everlast.
This is Stain's 14 Shades of Grey. They describe it as quote-unquote post-grunge, which is a term I really can't stand. But I think how, some of, the Metacritic reviews that I found describe it much better than I can. So from the AV Club, which gave it a 60, not memorable enough to be bad, not heavy enough to pack visceral power. Most of these songs, even radio-friendly ringers like So Far Away, are indistinguishable from the work of 100 other bands with misspelled names, hotshot producers, plentiful tattoos, and optional silly facial hair.
Damn.
Nailed them.
Yeah, taken down.
Nailed to the cross, just like that album cover.
Yeah. From Q Magazine, which gave it a 30, another dollop of rock sludge with a remarkably honest title.
Don't you dare call that sludge. I disagree with that vehemently.
I mean, I guess the guy writing for Q Magazine doesn't understand that sludge is like a different genre entirely.
Yeah,
He's just using it as a derogatory term.
Okay.
But again, I say my favorite for last. This is from Dot Music, which gave it a 20. 14 Shades of Grey's features no standout moments or highlights, just a formulaic, plodding 60-plus moribund minutes that make this album about an hour too long. Avoid at all cost, even if you're a member of Stain's family.
Wait, I have a question about that. They said it's an hour too long. How long is the album?
60-plus minutes. I think they're just saying that it's all trash.
All right, just want to make sure.
Excellent. God, that's good.
This time period leads us into the little story I teased to y'all earlier in our text chat this week.
Fuck. Are we going to have another round of the game first?
That's going to come up, I think, after here in a minute.
Okay.
We want to spread these out. I mean, this is probably going to hit the hour-and-a-half mark easily again.
Easy. There's so much to say.
We got time. So
much to say.
There was this one line in the band's Wikipedia article that said that the band in 2003 unsuccessfully sued their logo designer, a guy named John Stainbrook. Apparently, they claimed that he was reusing the logo he had sold the band, and they also reopened this case in 2005 because they lost.
It's such a sick logo.
Oh, yeah.
I did. Well, here's the thing. Is like anytime you read a Wikipedia article, you know that it's going to be sort of like a favorable color. You're looking at it through rose-colored glasses. People that write the Wikipedia article for Stain are probably Stain fans.
Right.
So I dug into it, and this is the story I found. So it turns out that this guy, John Stainbrook, has been performing live shows and developing music for TV, video, and DVD for national and international markets.
Did they just pull their band name from his last name?
No. His band is The Stain, and he's been doing it since 1980. Okay?
The Stain?
The Stain.
No D.
Okay. So
Yeah, because his name is Stainbrook, right?
This guy
Okay,
named
got
John
it.
Stainbrook has been The Stain since 1980.
Oh, my God.
So here are some quotes from Mr. Stainbrook in this article I find. So he says, Fred Durst was probably the first person from the Flip Records camp to take an interest in The Stain when he saw my band perform while Limp Bizkit was in Toledo for a show that I booked.
Toledo.
So he's booked a show that Limp Bizkit was on. It is a well-known fact that Durst has made many enemies due to his style of doing business and alleged theft of other musicians' work. For example, during Limp Bizkit's auditions for Wes Borland's replacement, you had to play original music and sign an agreement that anything you played became Limp Bizkit property.
What?
It makes sense that Durst discovered Stained, and they share the same lawyer.
Oh, my
Okay?
God.
That's a little unrelated, but I just thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, man.
I never knew such an asshole could be so litigious.
So apparently, the president of
Wait,
Flip
what's
Records,
litigious mean?
who is the record company,
He likes to sue motherfuckers.
you sue people a lot, yeah.
I'm just joking.
The story is that the president of Flip Records, who is, Durst was working for, and they were the record company that signed Stain. This guy's name is Jordan Schur. Apparently what he did is he would badger Stainbrook to sell his trademark to the record company, and then this guy made a bunch of promises he didn't keep. So a quote from Stainbrook again. I sold my trademark for The Stain, because I relied on the truth and sincerity of Jordan Schur's promises, which included distribution help, quote-unquote, important friends, exposure, public relations, etc. Schur said, Stained, Limp Bizkit, and I will be beholden to you, and we will use our organization and resources to help you. So this record executive's trying to give him a slick pitch, like, hey, if you sell us a trademark, we'll help you out.
They just gotta have the word Stain. They gotta have it, huh? It's gotta be it. There's no other possible branding they could think of. It's gotta be that one.
Dude, it gets so much better. It gets so much better.
Nothing fits their whole aesthetic more than a stain.
Yeah. So part of the agreement that Stainbrook made with Schur was that Stained could not perform in the states of Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan. Okay, and that was because I'm assuming that the Stain was still performing as the Stain in these areas, so he didn't want confusion between the two. Okay,
dueling stains.
Yeah. So anyway, of course, Stained breaks this agreement. They perform as the opening act for Kid Rock at a show in Ohio.
This is Stained or The Stain?
This is Stained. They break the agreement.
Is this Everlast?
I hate this show so
Hang
much.
On, we got some ways to go, guys. So Stainbrook sees that Stained perform in Ohio, breaking the contract, and he tries to.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed you can even read this. How can you even read this?
Yeah, it's like a tongue twister.
Hang on,
I don't know.
Hang on. It's about to get good, guys. Hang on. So this is breach of contract. So Stainbrook tries to call Flip Records, Jordan Schur, the Stained, like anybody, saying like, "Hey, you broke the agreement. Like, what's going on?"
911.
Yeah, and they just blow him off. So according to Stainbrook, quote, "Later, I found out the reason they didn't want to talk to me. They didn't even entirely own their band. Stained is a corporation called Tradem Inc."
Wait, what?
Okay, so he makes this claim that Stained is not really a band. They are a corporation that is using the name Stained. And sure enough, I looked up Tradem Inc., and it turns out there is a corporation listed in Delaware by this name. And the records for the U.S. Trademark Office website show that this company, Tradem Inc., has applied for trademark registration for the Stain all the way back in 1993.
Oh, my God.
But starting in April of 2000, right around the time they started getting famous, they applied for a trademark for Stained. Okay? So what I think happened, again, there's a lot of legal bullshit that I didn't understand that I was like shifting through. But from what I can tell, it looks like the band applied for a trademark for The Stain way back when they first started in 93. And then when they got a record deal and started getting like blowing up, their attorneys realized that Stainbrook already owned this trademark. So they basically tried to browbeat this guy into selling the trademark to cover their fuck up.
Oh my God.
Wow. Josh, you have really gone too far this time. This is unforgivable.
I got one more quote, okay, from Stainbrook. Okay, this is the best. This is really the whole reason I wanted to tell this story.
As if we needed another reason to hate these dudes. I mean, come on, Josh.
So
yeah, as if we need another reason. Oh wait, they're also a corporation?
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is again Stainbrook speaking. Stained has not only committed fraud upon the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, but also committed fraud upon the public every day. They are marketed as evil, scary, dangerous metal, but in reality, they wear Rolex watches, stay in 5-star hotels, travel in jets or air-conditioned tour buses, and have their dinners catered backstage by chefs. Maybe the pain that prompted the Tormented album came from Meshuck getting a scratch on one of his polished guitars.
Damn.
So the result of the last lawsuit is they settled out of court. So I don't know how much money was thrown around, but I'm sure they paid Stainbrook a fuck ton to get him to shut up.
I wonder how much.
I mean, they had a bunch of singles, got a lot of radio play.
We should reach out to Stainbrook. We should email him.
Well, maybe we can.
See if he wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See how many oxys he wants to talk about.
Anyway.
Josh, were you able to find any music or video from The Stain? Because I'm real curious about what he was.
No, I spent so much time looking at this guy. I mean, so just to like not completely throw Stained under the bus, it seems like this Stainbrook guy is pretty litigious. He also sued In Living Color back in the early 90s, because I think one of their album titles was The Stain. And there was another band, too, that used the term The Stain or Stain in something that he sued. So he himself might be a bit of a litigious person.
Oh, I'm sure he's an asshole.
I mean, at least part of what he's saying here in these quotes that I read, they kind of fall in line with what you think that the band Stained would be all about.
Josh, can you Jonathan Davis yourself, please?
Is that
Moving on.
Is that good? Moving on. The band has released 3 more albums since 2005, all with slowly declining success that we've seen on the show over and over. All 3 of them were top 5 records in the Billboard 200, and only 2 singles charted on the Hot 100 out of these albums. Chapter 5, released in August of 2005, single platinum. And then they had 2 more records, The Illusion of Progress in 2008, no gold, not even gold record. And then Stained, they decided to make their last album, their self-titled album. This was released in 2011. Again, not even gold record status. And the only interesting thing I found about this is that apparently they made a documentary about the making of this album.
Oh my God.
I didn't watch any of it because I just couldn't handle listening to any more Stained. But there's a quote I found from Aaron Lewis when he was promoting it. He described the documentary as, quote, some kind of monster on steroids.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, that's a fascinating one. Yes, of course.
Some kind of monster.
Is that the Metallica one?
Yeah.
Yes, the Saint Anger documentary.
Where they're all crying and in therapy together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna make the bold wager that anybody still listening to this episode does not give a shit about anything else that happened to Stained.
Except it gets worse.
Yeah. Real quickly, I'll go through the last bit of their career. In 2012, they called an official hiatus, and they performed limitedly here and there over the next 5 years. In 2017, Lewis stated that the band would never tour again extensively. Quote, "The touring machine, as you call it, of Stained will never be again. Not like that, no, never. I could never go back to playing 6 shows a week, 8 weeks in a row. I can't do that. I have grown in my age and become very accustomed to playing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and be able to go home for a few days and unwind and try to kind of have a life outside from doing this." And wait for it, in 2021, just a few months ago, the group played an 8-week tour with Korn.
About to say, I noticed they were on tour. I think they're on tour right now.
So Aaron Lewis decided that Never Never was actually just 4 years later.
When you got to buy that many high-end hunting bows, you got to stay on the road.
Exactly.
Yeah, that real tree shit is very expensive.
And we're about to get into that. But let's play the next round of Trapped or Stained. All right. So since there was no one got anything right, we'll just go in the same order. Gabe, here's your first.
I'm not going to get anything right. This game is impossible.
Here's your first lyric. Are you afraid? Afraid of the truth. In the mirror staring back at you. The image is cracked, but so is the view here. And the strength of a tree begins in the roots that I tend to bury into you.
Ooh.
At least now the storm can't blow me away. So crawl inside my head with me. I'll show you how it feels to be to blame like me.
Oh, man, there's a lot in there. Like, I feel like that metaphor is a little bit better than anything that Aaron Lewis could ever come up with. But then you also said crawl inside my head, which is Crawl, as we know, is a song. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go Trapped.
Incorrect. This is...
God damn it!
This is Schizophrenic Conversations by Stained.
Deep.
The mixing of the metaphors is just... There's like a tree roots and a mirror.
The tree roots that I'll bury inside of you? That is disgusting.
All right, Hayden.
Hit me.
Conclusions manifest. Your first impressions got to be your very best. I see you're full of shit, and that's all right. That's how you play. I guess you'll get through every night.
Aaron Lewis likes to swear, not very, poorly in his music, so that's one tick towards Aaron Lewis, but I'm going to go Trapped.
Ding ding, you are correct.
Yes,
that is from their hit song Headstrong.
Oh yeah, this whole
hit.
time I've been trying to remember what their hit was.
Headstrong, they'll take you on. Headstrong, they'll take on anyone.
Oh yeah, of course.
Take on anyone. All right, so Hayden.
Take that, Gabe.
Hayden is ahead, 1-0. All right.
This is a barn burner.
Hey everyone, just want to jump in here for a minute to let you know that we now have official This Song Sucks merch for sale. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and coffee mugs available. Head on over to thealabamatake.com and click on the shop link at the top of the page. You can also pick up all the other Alabama Take goodies, like the fan favorite Done Up Real Good t-shirt. Again, head to thealabamatake.com and follow the shop link. Thanks for your support, and now back to the episode.
Hey everyone, this is friend of the show Jonah Fujikawa of Trustfall Collaborations, and I'm here to tell you about the perfect gift for the children in your life this holiday season. Discover a new folklore in the holiday tradition by checking out our debut picture book, Elf and Ramon. Elf and Ramon is a story of the elf that began the tradition of leaving cookies and milk for Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. Unique photographic artwork helps tell the tale of Elfie's island-themed adventure in vivid detail. Start a new holiday tradition with your family and gift a copy to your favorite kiddos on Santa's Nice List. Available now at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Books A Million, and at our website, trustfallcollaborations.com. Thanks for your support, and now back to the episode.
My next section of notes is titled, Aaron Lewis is a dipshit. So we're going to talk about that a little bit before we get into the song itself.
We're never going to get to the song.
And frankly, I don't care.
Nobody else does either. They've all stopped listening.
Aaron Lewis's Wikipedia page, his personal Wikipedia page, just really completely glosses over the fact that he was in Stained. Instead, it focuses on his career as a solo country artist.
Yep.
In fact, there are literally more words on Aaron Lewis's Wikipedia page about his bow hunting preferences than his career with Stained.
Jesus.
Have you guys read what his Twitter bio says?
No, lay it on us.
It's just musician, father, patriot.
I mean, I don't know what else I expected. That is so on brand.
I had a thought that maybe since, like, we all know I'm pretty terrible at running a Twitter account because I'm just too old to run a Twitter account, I think. But maybe I should try to start a fight with him.
A Twitter battle? I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that more.
Well, we'll probably get doxxed by his followers, but
It'd be awesome.
All right. So, he's known as kind of a turn toward like a major Trumper, essentially. He wears the Make America Great Again hat. Sorry, I was burping. The red hat, the infamous red hat. And now on recent tours, he wears a shirt that says "Fuck Biden."
Interesting point about that is, like, he definitely was on the Trump bandwagon in 2016. I just found a little bit of, I was reading a little bit about his like political beliefs. Was definitely on the Trump bandwagon in 2016, but then like expressed a lot of hesitation, in disappointment in Trump's behavior. So like he definitely like was like waffling on his support while watching the man in office, but then obviously saw the power of the branding of the Make America Great thing and just totally dropped all of his criticisms and totally adopted it. It's totally commercial decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like his decision to go back on a tour with Stained after, 10 years of not playing with them. I mean, even before he became a Trumper, he was kind of notorious for being a dipshit asshole. Like we've talked again about his feud with Wes Borland. But I went and found a couple of good instances that I'll share with y'all, and then we can let Gabe jump in on if he has anything else. So my first example is during Game 5 of the 2014 World Series, Lewis performed the national anthem and fucked up the lyrics.
What did he say?
He's saying "We're so gallantly streaming" is like the second line, and like ended up repeating it again.
he sang some Korn lyrics instead.
Yeah, yeah, he literally just did the growling. But he also royally struggles on hitting the note on Rocket's Red Glare, which isn't even the highest note in the song. I mean, he apologized afterward, and he's like, I'm a patriot, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, he was probably just fucked up,
I'm a patriot, not a singer.
But speaking of being too drunk, in July 2021, while playing a solo show at a bar in Dewey Beach, Delaware, he got so drunk that he started playing It's Been Awhile for a second time in his set. And he realized it halfway through and stopped. And while he was up there singing, he said he played it twice because he was, quote, overserved. And then later after the fact, later in the set, before he started playing the song, he says, so I should play the fucking song that I was supposed to be playing the whole fucking time. Maybe I might have smoked a little bit too much weed tonight.
Wait, I thought he was overserved.
I guess it was the booze and the weed.
I thought the whole point of It's Been a While was being sober.
And do you really think that anybody that was at that show was mad that he was playing It's Been a While again? That's what they came there for.
They would have been happy for him to just keep playing it for a second time.
They had their lighters out. And their lighter in one hand, Oxycontin in the other.
It fully tracks that he blamed the bartender for over-serving him for putting on a shitty show.
Yeah,
like, he couldn't just take credit for being an asshole and be like, I'm drunk. Somebody else's fault.
Yeah, so there's actually quite a bit of video evidence out there of Aaron Lewis doing stupid shit during live shows. He plays mostly solo sets, but there's a lot of times where he stops and berates the audience for being too loud. So, like, in a few instances,
Yes.
he just leaves the stage entirely. I mean, he's just kind of known as this crybaby.
You know who else acts like that? The Smash Mouth guy. It's not good not good
Come
company
on, we're
to be
getting
in
too.
here.
We can't add another band into this right now.
Oh, yes, we can.
But I mean,
Yes,
the
we
thing
can.
is, it's like, if he wanted absolute quiet for his sensitive acoustic guitar music, maybe he shouldn't be playing in shitty clubs in Daytona Beach. You know, it's just
Right.
like, come on. Here's a real bad one. And there was one particular incident where I think what happened is someone in the audience yelled at him and said maybe the people who are making a lot of noise would understand his request for quiet if he said it in Spanish. To which he replied, before walking off the stage,
Oh, no.
I don't speak Spanish, I'm American.
Oh, my fucking God.
That's the tamest thing that he could have said in that
Yeah.
situation. He wanted to
Yeah.
say a lot worse, I bet.
There's also a bunch of clips of people throwing stuff at him on stage, like, and nailing him in the face.
Oh, that's
Oh, that's
beautiful.
awesome.
Can you make us a supercut, Josh?
Yeah. Well, there's a video on YouTube called 15 Intense Moments, or it says 15 Intense Aaron Lewis versus Fans Moments.
I think I've watched
So
this video.
Wow.
you can go.
That's so many.
You can go find that one. But like a lot of times when people are being quiet or like throwing shit at him, he'll do like the Trump thing where he encourages other members of the audience to go beat the people up. You know, so that's like super fucked up. But the funniest one from this YouTube video is there was a spotlight on him, and some guy was like making a shadow puppet on his face
Oh, cool.
the whole time.
Now, Gabe, you've actually seen Aaron Lewis.
I have
live,
seen
have you
Aaron
not?
Lewis, and I guess this is as good a time as any to tell that story. For many years, I worked at a music venue here in Tucson, so I got to see a lot of shows, mostly things that I didn't really care about, but I just go to everything because why not? It's all fun.
Yeah.
I love ICP shows, for instance, because they're the most fun you can have at a show. I hate the music, but the show is great.
Sure.
Anyway, so saw that Aaron Lewis was coming. I had no concept of like who he had become as a monster. Just knew like he was in Stained. I remember Stained from when I was a kid. I love the song Mud Shovel. I love the well. There is a song called It's Been a While that I know all the words to.
Somewhere way in the distance.
Yeah. I was like, I'll pop in, check out that show. And so I went in to the theater, and there were like probably like 150 more or less toothless rednecks in there. A lot of real tree camo, a lot of shirtless people with some questionable tattoos. Granted, this is a 1,500 person capacity theater, so 150
What year is
people.
this again?
I think this is 2018.
Okay, so pretty recently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Recently enough for the thing that I'm going to say next to have happened. And I go in, and there's this basically empty theater with these people, these like very drunk people. And Aaron Lewis is wearing a Trump 2020 t-shirt. And I was like, oh, this is something different. And he had like the banner behind him was something like one of those fucking Blue Lives Matter flags, like it was some pro-America, pro-cop shit. And all those idiots were just eating it up. And I just walked straight the fuck out. I was like, I can't handle this. I'm done with this.
Oh, so you didn't even watch him play?
I mean, he was playing when I walked in, but like I like didn't care.
Yeah.
It was probably some of his solo shit. It wasn't anything I recognized, obviously, because I don't know any of his music. And that's my story. And that's when I realized that Aaron Lewis is a real piece of shit.
Yeah, he really is. And I wanted to make a point to kind of plus one you on that. Like, we've talked about a lot of despicable men on this show already, with like Kiedis and Durst in particular, at great length. But unlike those guys who I feel like Fred Durst is probably not that awful of a person now. He probably has some regret about how he acted as a young man. I feel like him and Kiedis both have like gone at least slightly in the right direction as they've gotten older, where Aaron Lewis has gone increasingly in the wrong direction the older he gets. I kind of think he's the worst out of all of them, is my point.
I think I agree with you. I mean, he's gone in the worst direction. He also, I forgot to mention this, in his solo music, he sings with a southern drawl. Which
I know.
He obviously picked up so that he could placate his, mustard-stained A-frame wearing fans.
Yes,
mustard-stained.
He's originally from Vermont and then lived in Massachusetts after he turned 13. So,
and Massachusetts is basically the South anyway.
Yeah,
for being honest.
Springfield, Massachusetts is probably really like Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah,
I guess,
when you're hanging out with hardcore kids in Boston, you're probably around some real racist people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to kind of go back to your point there, Hayden, and to try to be fair to Aaron Lewis, there is a famous.
Why would we do that?
Well, it shows a decline. Like you say, there is a famous clip of him, and this is probably from like 2000, 2001, where they're at a live show and he stops the performance and berates these people who are like sort of assaulting this young girl who's being crowd surfed, like they're touching her inappropriately, and he like stops and like yells at them and tells them their mothers should be ashamed of them. So maybe he used to be a decent guy, and then as we said, he kind of became more of
I'm sorry,
a Trumper.
just happening to point out sexual assault happening does not make you a decent guy.
Yeah, that is the most basic form of fucking humanity that he could be.
Yeah, it's the least he could do. If this is the only positive thing we can say about this guy, this just proves the point even further.
Well, I say it as a contrast to the incident with Durst at Woodstock 99, where that was happening.
Right.
And afterwards, when he's asked about it, he just says it's not his problem, So it is a direct contrast into the way those kind of dudes were acting at the time.
However, Fred Durst recently dressed up as an old man and played a show, whereas Aaron Lewis keeps dressing up as a fucking bow hunter and playing shows.
Yeah. Point Durst.
Yeah. All right, let's get into talking about the song, guys. It's been a while.
It truly has. It's been about an hour.
It's been a while since this fucking podcast started.
It's been a while since we get into the fucking talking about this song. So my first minor quibble is that the main hook of this song is just those first few notes of the verse. It's been a while. Like, the chorus itself doesn't really have a hook. I mean, it's kind of dumb on its own, just the fact that is the hook. But I'm not a fan of that sort of, when you do the melodic rhythm where you sing a bunch of notes really fast up front. It's a weird way to phrase it. I mean, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's really a long tradition when you write melodies that are sung where the phrases tend to get accelerated in rhythm, so you have slow, longer notes up front, and then you end a phrase that's quicker. And the reason that is because that's how people talk. It kind of mirrors the natural talking rhythm. And I don't mean to suggest that you can't write a song that has kind of front-loaded, quick rhythms in your melody, but I think for this particular example, it's especially bad because it sounds to me like I would suspect that he wrote different lyrics for that little hook, but then decided to put in "It's Been a While," and the result is him trying to cram all those syllables in really fast.
That's an interesting point.
So it just sounds kind of unnatural and weird. But I mean, like, if you're going to describe to people this song, like, oh yeah, Stained, what did they sing? You sing "It's Been a While," and they know what you're talking about. That's the hook, and it's
You put this song on in a car, and everybody will sing. Oh, well, everybody our age will sing along to it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I've definitely done that to Hayden more than once.
Yeah, but
yes, you have.
But if you haven't heard this song in 10 years, are you going to remember the chorus melody without hearing the song? Probably not.
Yeah, I will. I would for sure.
I mean, you as a non-musician, though.
No, probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, right. I can't speak to that because I will remember it,
Yeah.
sadly, until the day that I die, hopefully soon.
I got to say, this song haunted me worse
Yeah.
than any of the other ones we've listened
Yeah.
to. Like nothing will make you question your life choices, like lying awake at 3 a.m. with this goddamn song in your head. The other night I could not sleep; it just would not stop playing in my head, and I was like, I have got to stop doing this podcast.
So my next problem is the dumb harmony on the "fuck things up" line.
We should have learned it and tried to do it together.
I told you.
So
I know you're right.
So it's the only harmony in the entire song is on that line. And it pisses me off for two reasons. One, the song's arrangement would have benefited a lot from having some harmonies later in the song, like in the bridge or the final chorus, because that would have provided a little more contrast in the sections, you know. It just really sounds like a giant wash of gray because of how similar they are.
Maybe 15 Shades?
Yeah, 15 Shades of Grey, exactly. But the second thing I hate about it is that it seems very obvious to me that these assholes just wanted to emphasize him saying the word fuck, like a bunch of juvenile middle schoolers.
I have a big point about the fucks, too, because, like, it's very possible to write an introspective song that drops the F-bomb effectively. Like, Elliott Smith did it well his whole career. However, Aaron Lewis is no Elliott Smith. He's Trailer Park.
Yeah,
He's Trailer
you
Park
think?
Chad Kroger. Yeah, I just hate it. I mean, like, there's a way to do that effectively, and he does not do it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that makes it even worse is that the version that everyone knows is the radio cut, which has to edit that out. So, like, you have these harmonies, and the harmony itself, like the notes and the melody of it sound good. They're like a good harmony. It's just, it completely falls flat because of how dumb it is that they're emphasizing that word, and then the fact that it gets cut out and it feels awkward and jumbled because of the radio edit.
Does the radio edit have an alternate line like some songs do? And if not, do you guys want to make one up right now?
Are you trying to get bonus points for the game you're currently losing? Is that what's happening?
Oh, come on. Yeah.
Hang on, I've got it. It's been a while since I've gone and hunted some bucks, just like I always do.
Some bucks, just like I always do.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
give Gabe a
That's what
second.
It's been a while since I've gone and punt some cucks. I mean, he's a Trump guy, so that makes sense.
That's probably what he sings when he plays it for the Trump people.
Cucks and snowflakes in there, just like he always does. Actually.
Yeah. So,
libtards.
to me, the song's biggest problem is that it's just boring as shit.
Yeah, like I couldn't believe that it went back. Like when it goes to the third verse, I was like, surely it's going to end here, and it goes. They really go back for
one
another
more
chorus,
little
like,
half verse at the end, or
Yeah.
whatever half chorus. I don't
Lord.
know. Yeah.
It's so long.
I have some points on this to kind of illustrate. So, like, first of all, the picked acoustic guitar into a hard rock song intro thing is super played out by this point. It's just lame. The song's arrangement completely relies on using distorted guitars at the beginning of the chorus to provide any kind of contrast between the sections.
That's all there
and again,
is.
this is something that's played out, but I have a clip of them playing this song on MTV Unplugged, which this is the transition from verse to chorus, and you can really hear how just fucking like numb and pointless this song is when you don't have that big heavy guitar drop.
I can stand on my own 2 feet again. And it's been a while since I could call you. And everything I
Just fucking put me out of my misery, man.
It's somehow so much worse.
Can someone buy them a tuner?
Yeah. Their lead guitar player desperately needs a tuner.
Or buy some singing lessons for Aaron Lewis.
You know, one of my points about this song too was like, just like watching the video again, I was like, this is just another instance where a white guy learns a few church chords on his Taylor guitar and thinks everyone should pay attention to him as a result.
Yes. And another thing I'll point out about this, that the guitar tone, that distorted guitar tone, is at that point, that ultra saturated, distorted guitar sound has already been played out. It was endemic to these bands in the early 2000s.
Yeah, it's been played out of a Line 6.
And I guess it makes sense to call this type of music post-grunge in the context of that guitar tone, because really what it is, it's just an overcompressed, washed-out version of the guitar tones you heard from like early 90s bands. Like I think of Nirvana. I specifically think of Bush's album 16 Stone.
It's funny you say Nirvana, because I have a point about another thing he may have ripped off in this song, is the way in the chorus, when you finally get the low note resolve, what the drop tuning of that particular song is, like you don't get the low note until like maybe 3 or 4 chords into the chorus chord structure. It's revealed in the same way that Nirvana reveals the low drop in Heart Shaped Box.
Ah, yeah.
Especially with like the little riff, the little melodic riff that follows the low note drop is almost like it's obvious what they were trying to recreate.
And
to me.
it's again, like if you go listen to those early 90s records where they got that heavy, those guitar tones are just all encompassing, blasting like in your face. It's just like so perfect, right?
Right, layered so well.
Yeah, but then this shit is just like, again, like that quote from the critic. It's like a Tipper Gore washed down version of that. It's like more digestible. It's less frightening to people's parents.
It's a pumpkin spice latte, buddy.
Yeah, but actually, probably the most boring thing about the song to me, and this will open. It gets worse and worse. Is his monotone vocal tone, right? And Hayden, you can elaborate on this because I know you want to talk about how he's seen as this big singer. But what's particularly frustrating is that the melodies in the song, the vocal melodies themselves, are actually fairly interesting and somewhat mature for this kind of music, like their actual shape and the notes that he's singing. But because the tone of his voice is just so static, the overall vocal performance just sounds dynamically flat.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a one-trick pony. Yeah.
There's zero character in his voice at all. So even if he's singing an interesting melodic line, it almost sounds like he's singing the same note, even though he's not.
That's probably partially intentional, too, because the whole point of this band is to be boiled down so that a certain subset of people will find it
it's
palatable.
to be as gray as possible.
Exactly.
You can compare it. I mean, his voice is not auto-tuned, but like the flat character of it is similar to the way you hear modern auto-tune vocals, right? It just sort of strips it of any sort of real like meaning or character, and it sounds like he doesn't want to be singing is really the way I hear it.
I think that's a good transition into what I think is the worst part of this song, which is, and it also speaks to what Hayden was saying about Aaron Lewis being the worst of all these guys, is like the lyrics themselves, which is true in a lot of Staind songs, having listened to a bunch, but there's all this faux sensitivity bullshit. Like there's no feeling at all in it. It's just like, I'm so bad for you and don't be with me or whatever. Like I'm the piece of shit, but it makes no effort to like fix that or be better in any way. It's just like saying something to say it. It's like if a robot wrote lyrics about being sensitive.
It's just Trailer Park Chad Kroger.
I thought Chad Kroger was Trailer Park Chad Kroger.
No,
That's another.
I set you up for that one.
Hey, when did that Photograph song come out? That Nickelback song?
Around the same time, right?
Because at the beginning of that Staind music video, he pulls a fucking photograph out of a box and looks at it.
Can this guy stop stealing
He's never
stuff?
not stolen.
Can you just stop, dude?
Oh man,
That's it. I'm Jonathan Davis and all of us.
I will call out one. I usually let you guys talk about the lyrics, but I will call out one specific thing about the lyrics in the song that bother me. I still remember how you taste.
Yeah, it's gross. It's real gross.
My personal preference is that I've always hated references in songs to people tasting each other. It just seems kind of weird.
All right, well, that sounds like maybe a you problem.
Yeah, it might be a you problem, but it just sounds especially creepy coming from Aaron Lewis and from Staind.
It's just gross. You're right. You don't want to hear him talk about
gross.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, never.
So those are all my...
Sorry, I was doing the manual Jonathan Davis
all right,
there.
So that's all my points about the song specifically. Do y'all have anything more to add about It's Been a While?
Fuck no.
Not really. I mean,
The music video?
it's such a fucking just like nothing of a song, just like all their music that we've already covered everything that there is pretty much.
Yeah, it really is just a wash of gray. I mean, I struggled to find specific things to talk about this song because every time I listened to it, I felt like I had ADD.
Yeah.
Like it was very difficult for me to sit down and listen to the song front to back without my mind wandering somewhere else because there's just nothing interesting in it at all to grab your attention.
No. Only the melody. I mean,
yeah, well, and it's there's nothing interesting, but somehow it's so catchy and will be stuck in your head forever.
Yeah,
which makes me think he did some like witch magic or something. Oh, some devil magic, probably.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He probably sacrificed a few liberals in his living room.
He sacrificed Westmoreland's eyes.
All right, so let's go to our third round of Trapped or Stained.
Oh, God,
I'll never win this game.
We'll let Hayden go first because he got a point in the last round.
It's 1-0, yeah? Okay. What do I get when I win?
Just the satisfaction of beating Gabe. What every boy dreams of.
Oh.
I thought I was going to get like a Taylor or a new Line 6 amp or something.
Maybe you can ask Bryce for his.
Oh, I use Bryce's all the time.
All right, here's your lyric, Hayden. I'm so lonely, you're so beautiful, not the only one that's pitiful. Scratched and torn, I lay here in pieces, craving all your deadly vices. Like to think that I'm not addicted, but I guess I wear it well.
No. This is Stained.
It's got to be Stained. Yeah, it's talking... Too easy.
Definitely
Easy.
Stained.
This game is rigged.
Yes, that is Crawl by Stained.
Oh, my favorite song.
All right. Gabe, here's yours. Give you a little chance to stay, keep it competitive.
Okay.
Your words to me, just a whisper. Your face is so unclear, I try to pay attention. Your words just disappear. 'Cause it's always raining in my head. Forget all the things I should have said.
It's always raining in my head. Okay, Trapped.
Oh no, it's Stained. I was trying to tee you up, man.
That was definitely Stained.
I honestly, you know how you said you can't pay attention to any of Stained songs while you were reading those lyrics? I just fucking zoned out.
All right, it's time for Hayden's YouTube corner.
No, we have a different theme song today. Remember, play the cigarette.
Oh, this is the theme song you want? Okay.
Yeah.
Light another cigarette.
Excellent. So, a quick asterisk. I really hate this YouTube section. Like, it's a lot of addicts or people in recovery who've used this song as an inspiration to stay sober, and I'm not really here to make fun of that.
Yeah.
Too much.
Whatever gets you through, man.
It's mainly a mix of that and like some toxic nostalgia, good old days kind of talk. But it's also like these comments are kind of like a confessions booth. There's like people talking about all sorts of tragedies and all sorts of horrible things that have happened to their shitty lives, and like how this song has happened to give them some sort of hope for some reason. So that's definitely the theme of what's going on. So it took me a while to find stuff that's not related to that. So it's not quite as star-studded as some of my YouTube comment sections have been.
It's more of a downer.
Yeah, I will mention, however, that while I was going through the comments section, you know how YouTube will select or will suggest, videos to watch next beside you while you're doing that. Fucking Eric Clapton's Unplugged kept coming up. Goddamn motherfucker, man! To be so mad.
You're just being haunted by the internet ghost of Eric Clapton. Wait, is he dead? Is he still alive?
Not yet, unfortunately.
Yes,
God, I
he's
wish
still
he would.
alive.
God damn it!
If he would die, when he dies, we'll do an episode on him.
Please.
Anyway, let's get right into it. Screaming Warhog says, when this song starts with a cigarette, you know shit's gonna get deep.
Ugh.
Yes, you're talking about the beginning of the video.
Light another
Yeah.
cigarette.
Hell yeah, pull out your Marlboro Reds and get to thinking.
This is a video directed by Fred Durst. It starts with pitch black, and it opens on a shot of Aaron Lewis lighting a cigarette.
Wait, is that true? It's directed by Fred Durst?
It is directed by Fred Durst.
Wow.
That's why it's so fucking cool, dude.
That's the fucking fact of the podcast right there.
So my next comment kind of illustrates what I was just talking about. This is someone's tragedy, but the lyric, it's written so poorly it sounds like a Stained lyric, so which is why I decided it was okay to make fun of this guy. Hollywood Saint says, "This is me now. 20 years since she left me and got pregnant by the other guy and had his kid. Just rummaging through old photos, old music, old memories, smoking a cigarette and drinking some whiskey, reflecting on how the pain never really leaves, just becomes diluted over time. Memories get triggered, lost in my thoughts, still lost in the pain."
Hold on. Trapped.
I actually think those would be better lyrics for Stained than anything Stained ever wrote.
Yeah, I thought they might as well be lyrics. And since they do have a penchant for stealing everything, I think we can expect a new Stain song coming out soon.
They do have plans for a new album, apparently.
Oh, please, no.
Who is asking for that?
You know. Who.
Well, maybe this next individual.
74 million Americans are asking for it.
The Tatermeister says, "This is one of the greatest songs ever made."
Well, we can't fault him for being
His
right.
name's a Tatermeister. He's got to know something.
Yeah, I really just wanted to say Tatermeister. Like, I saw that name. I was like, I don't care what the comment is. Okay, and to end, Nick Gurr says, "I am naming my child after this band. Thank you, Stained, for being the best one-hit alternative band from the early 2000s, second only to Creed and Nickelback. I have a tattoo of Chad Kroeger on my lower back, and I named my first child Chad Kroeger."
Oh my!
He's gonna name his child Stained?
He says his first child's name is Chad Kroeger, and he's going to name his second child Stained.
Oh my God!
Come on, that's a troll. That can't be real.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if there was not any trolling going on though. Like if it is a troll, it was a one-off.
Right.
Like this is a pretty sincere comment board.
Oh my God!
You would say maybe somber and sober.
All right, that's all I got. I'm not doing any more of this.
Hayden has blown ahead here in the competition, but we'll play the last round.
You know what?
Double points,
Let's
double
throw it all
points.
on the
Come on, give me a
line.
chance.
Let's throw it all on the line. It's all on the line. This is the one.
All
Whoever
or
wins this
nothing.
Okay.
wins the
Whoever,
challenge. All or nothing.
whoever gets this wins. Okay. All right, we'll let Gabe go first since he's down.
All right. It doesn't matter.
What if we both get it? If we both get it, I win.
Okay, sure.
Oh, are there two more left, or is there just one?
There's one each for each of you.
Okay.
Yeah. If I get it, you
And
lose.
I do have a tiebreaker prepared. So, all right, here you go, Gabe.
Let's go.
Okay.
You're pathetic. You're fucking weak, and I'm sick of it all. Social anesthetic to the people you meet, and I'm sick of it all. You're unapologetic, even though you shouldn't be, and I'm sick of it all. You just don't get it. You never did, and I'm sick of it all.
Stained.
Nailed it. It's a point for Gabe.
Had to be. He's really sick of it all.
Yeah.
There's a song Paper Wings by Stained. All right, Hayden, here's yours.
Paper wings. All right.
Keeping secrets somewhere down below. I wish you had the heart to tell me that you sold your soul. So many things you couldn't let me know. You had to run away. Why can't I hold on to you?
Trapped.
Oof.
You are correct. It is Trapped.
Fuck! I was never going to win that game, but
I do have a tiebreaker that I prepared, but I just want to do it anyway.
yeah.
Okay.
What if on the tiebreaker we say it at the same time?
Well, no. So I'm going to give you a range of numbers, and you have to guess. Okay.
Okay, cool.
It's whoever's closest. Okay.
Okay.
And we're not going to play. It's not Price is Right rules. It's just whoever's closest to this number. So Stained has 7 songs on the Hot 100, the Billboard Hot 100. What is, give me down to the minute and second, the average length of those songs?
Oh man, that's a good question. 4 minutes and 32 seconds.
Okay, Hayden says 4:32. Gabe, what you got?
I'm going to say... Wait, what did Hayden say? 4:32?
4:32.
I know it's more than that, but I'm going to say 4:20 just because that's funny.
You're both wrong. The answer is way too fucking long. No, actually, Gabe, you're right. It's you. Actually, you win. You're not right, but you win. It's exactly 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That is really long.
Yeah, that's
I thought you were going to say it's
very long
exactly
for a pop song.
420. Omaha Styley.
Well, that's all I got. Hayden, you win the game. You are an official.
As my prize, I would like to close with Jonathan Davis one more time.
Okay.
Oh, wait, Josh, did you pull that one little clip from the live version of Outside where he misses the
let's end
note
with that.
entirely? Yeah,
So,
please.
let's
Do you want to hear the Fred Durst part or the him singing part?
All of it.
Both of them. How
Okay,
about?
so this is from Outside, which this is from the Family Values tour. It's a live. This song was not complete when they first started playing it on the tour, and apparently Fred Durst is the one who encouraged Aaron Lewis to get up there and do it. And of course, Fred Durst is like, I got to get on stage too. So here's a little sample of Fred Durst outtakes or ad libs from this performance.
Say Biloxi.
The real deal, y'all.
It's the real deal, y'all.
Here's Gabe's favorite line coming up soon.
I'm so bored.
Feeling those lighters.
I'm feeling those lighters.
Light another cigarette, bro.
And here's another little section not long after that. And this, I think, adds evidence to, or counter evidence to this whole idea that Aaron Lewis is this like amazing rock vocalist.
Which he's not.
All those times that I tried my intention. Full of pride.
The first time I heard that, I thought about Bobby Euchre in Major League. Just a bit outside.
All right. I'm sick to my stomach.
Yeah, let's go freaking like bleach our brains to get rid of all this stain
I
material.
drank too much Monster Energy drink in preparation for this.
That's very on
So
brand.
did all of Aaron Lewis's fans.
Yeah, right.
I'm convinced I'm going to walk out of my apartment. There's going to be like some guy in camo with like a bow, like ready to
take you
attack
out.
Let's make sure that it's definitely been a while before we have to talk about fucking Stained ever again, please.
Perfect. We'll end on that. Gabe, thank you so much for joining
Thank you,
us. Hayden, as always, I hate you so much. See you guys next time. This Song Sucks is brought to you by the Alabama Take. Follow us on Instagram at This Song Sucks Pod and find our blog at thealabamatake.com. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can even email us at thissongsuckspod@gmail.com.